geometric sequence. This is the second type of sequence we have. Remember, in our previous lesson, we learned about arithmetic sequences, which were going from one term to the next by always adding the same value. And then that number you added was called the common difference. Geometric, similar, except this time going from one term to the next by multiplying the same value. The number that you're multiplying is called the common ratio. So keep in mind, arithmetic is always adding, geometric is always multiplying. Arithmetic adding, even if it's a negative number, you're still adding it. Geometric is multiplying, and you'll see one trick, something that might stump some of you up as we go through this. I'll save the surprise for when we get to it. Okay, so for this first sequence, 5, 10, 20, 40. What do I multiply to get to the next number? So 5 times what is 10? 10 times what is 20? 20 times what is 40? Hopefully by me going through that, you're like, I know this. And it's multiply by 2. And my next term will be 80. 2 times 40. Next one, 3, 9, 27, 81. 3 times what is 9? 9 times what is 27? We are multiplying by 3 to get to the next term. And then our next term, 81 times 3, if you plug that into your calculator, you get 243 as our next term. Now notice with these is that our first term was a small number. First term, 5, first term, 3. But then when we got to the fifth term in the sequence, we jumped all the way to 80, all the way to 243. So these are making big jumps from small numbers, and then they get large really, really quickly. All right, let's go to the next one. We've added a little trick in here, so let's see if we can catch it. -1, 4, -16, and 64. -1 times what gets us to 4? 4 times what gets us to -16? And -16 times what gets us to 64? Well, I definitely don't know 16 to 64. That's a pretty big jump. I can't do that in my head. But I do know that -1 to 4, I definitely multiplying by 4. And then 4 to 16, definitely multiplying by 4. But how do I get negative to positive to negative? We are multiplying by a negative number. -1 times -4 will give us +4. +4 times -4 will give us -16. And then -16 times -4 gets us +64. So we are multiplying by -4. And then what will my next term be? Again, you can use your calculator, totally fine. 64 times -4 is -256. So again, ignoring that negative sign. But we started at 1, and by the fifth term, we got all the way to 256. Huge jumps just in those 5 terms. Number 4, 7, -14, 28, -56. So we went positive, negative, positive, negative. So I know for sure I'm multiplying by some kind of negative number. So times, negative, and then what number? So maybe you want to kind of ignore those negative signs for right now. From 7 to 14, what do I multiply? 14 to 28, 28 to 56. What did I multiply? Multiplied by 2. 7 times 2 is 14. 14 times 2 is 28. 28 times 2 is 56. And then just that negative gives you that alternating positive, negative. And then next term, -56 times -2 will give us 112. Okay. And the last set that we're going to do for our notes before I'll let you go for your practice. I see some fractions. So we've got 14, 7, 7 halves, or 7 over 2, and 7 over 14. If you paid really close attention in the first assignment for this section with the pizza, and we were dealing with fractions there. I think that this one should kind of like ring a bell of what's going on here. So we have 14 down to 7. What did I have to multiply to get to 7? And then from 7 to 7 halves, what did I multiply by? We're not dividing. I will mark you wrong if you tried dividing, because I know most of you are going to say, well, you just divided by 2. Well, our formula, when we get to the formula in one of the next lessons, doesn't allow us to divide. It only allows us to multiply. So I need to have some kind of multiplication. So instead of dividing by 2, we're actually going to multiply by 1/2. 1/2 is the same as dividing by 2. So let's see. Let's test this little theory out in case you don't believe me. 14 times, and then parentheses 1/2, and I get 7. So then let's change this. 7 times 1/2 gives me 3.5. Oh, but that's not a fraction. There we go, 7 halves. And then we do 7 halves times 1/2, and I get 7/4. Okay, now we're at 7/4. What's our next term? So we'll go 7/4 times 1/2, and I get 7/8. Now notice that these denominators here are going up by 2's. So 2, 4, 8, because I multiplied by 1/2. So the bottom is increasing by 2 each time, and the numerator is staying the same. Okay, then the last one is 16, 4, 1, and 1/4. What am I multiplying by? Again, my numbers are starting big and they're getting smaller. So when that happens, that should be a big clue for you that you are multiplying by a fraction. So in this case, we are multiplying by 1/4. We divided by 4, okay? 1 divided by 4. Divide by 4 gives you that fraction with a 4 in the denominator. Okay, so hopefully you can remember that. I know it's tricky for some students, but once you get the hang of it, you'll be good to go. All right, now we need to figure out what our next term is going to be. So you can use your calculator, that's fine. 1/4 and then times 1/4 gives us a decimal. I don't want a decimal. If it's in fractions, I want it to stay as a fraction. So I'll hit the fraction button and we get 1/16. All right, so go ahead and try your practice problems.